Hola a todos y bienvenidos a Aventuras de Blazkowicz. Continuamos con Asesinato de Orient Express. A ver, hablemos con Hubbard.
Good morning, madam. I am Hercule Poirot.
Caroline Hubbard. What can I do for you, Mr. Poirot?
I am the bearer of unfortunate news.
It's obvious with all the commotion that something has happened.
Madame Hubbard, I am afraid your neighbor, Monsieur Ratchet, was murdered last night.
Oh my God! I knew it! I knew it!
I would like to ask you some questions, but first, may I inspect your room?
Of course, yes, you must.
Es americana. Supongo que es ama de casa. Sí, tiene 18 años, los aparenta, perfectamente los aparenta.
I'm right again. That happens to me a lot.
Oh,
Haha! Golden mustache.
señora Hubbard, ¿por qué tiene usted un bigote dorado? Junto... ¿Un pomo? ¿Por qué roba material del tren? ¿Son recuerdos?
Here is a jacket button. It bears the logo of the Orient Express.
Ah, es un botón. ¿Estaba usted teniendo relaciones con Michelle? ¿En un momento de pasión le arrancó el botón? Conteste, señora Hubbard.
The luxury of the Orient Express is present in every detail.
¿Y bien? ¿Lo abro pero ya está? ¿O qué? ¿Qué ocurre?
This door connects to Monsieur Ratchet's compartment. It was latched on this side.
Señora Hubbard, sus canillas cuelgan. ¿O es una cama demasiado alta o es usted bajita?
Madame, please tell me about last night.
The murderer was right here in my compartment. I woke up. All in the dark it was. I was just so scared I couldn't scream. I pressed the call button. I pressed and pressed. I heard footsteps running in the corridor, then a knock on my door. "Come in," I screamed. And I switched on the lights at the same time. And would you believe it? There wasn't a soul there.
You think he went back into the other compartment?
How do I know where he went? I had my eyes shut tight. The conductor came in. I told the man what had happened, and he didn't seem to believe me. I asked him to search the room, but he found nothing. I told the conductor to look at the door between the compartments, and sure enough, it wasn't bolted. Well, I soon saw to that. I told him to bolt it, then and there.
How is it you didn't bolt the door between the two compartments?
But I had. Well, as a matter of fact, I asked that Swedish lady, Olsen, Greta, if it was bolted, and she said it was.
How was it you could not see for yourself?
I was already in bed, and my toiletry bag was hanging on the hook of the door. I couldn't see the latch from where I was.
What time was it when you asked her to do this for you?
Oh, it must have been around 10:30 or 10:45 p.m. She'd come along to see if I had an aspirin. But instead of opening my door, she opened Mr. Ratchet's door by mistake. He said something quite rude, like, "Not a chance, lady, you're too old." It shocked her. She came in. I told her where to find the aspirin, and she got it out of my toiletry bag. Poor girl, she didn't have a good night.
The same could be said for Monsieur Ratchet.
It appears Mademoiselle Olsen may be the last person to see Ratchet alive.
Vale, vamos teniendo pistas. La madeja hay que irla desliando.
Is this your handkerchief?
No, not at all.
Yet it is embroidered with an initial H, like your name.
I don't care. It's not mine, and I would certainly never buy something so impractical as that frilly thing.
Es interesante el uso del teléfono móvil, lo cual le da cierta cualidad, porque en lugar de ir correteando con las pistas, ¿es este su pañuelo? Y modificar la escena del crimen, pues está bien el tema de usar el teléfono para estas cosas.
Are you a smoker?
No, definitely not. Filthy habit.
I found a jacket button on your table. It looks like it belongs to a train employee. The button bears the logo of the Orient Express.
Well, of course the conductor came in last night, but he didn't go near that table.
Still, it's a safe bet that it belongs to the conductor. I'll check his jacket later, to be sure.
Se la arrancó en un momento de pasión.
I have not finished inspecting your room. If you don't mind,
A ver, ¿qué falta, Po? ¿Qué falta? ¿Qué falta? ¿Qué falta? Entiendo que este es un neceser. Tiene pinta de neceser. ¿Lo necesitamos? Para confirmar si...
Let's see if Mrs. Hubbard was telling the truth about the latch of the connecting door.
Lo iba a cambiar de sitio, pero es interesante que lo tire al suelo, que desaparezca. Os lo hemos puesto ahí.
This hook is probably where Mrs. Hubbard hung her toiletry bag.
Ah,
I can see the latch very well from here, even with the toiletry bag attached. I'll have to clear that up with Mrs. Hubbard.
no, pero es curioso, no... No pensé que los necesarios hicieran esto. Es muy útil y práctico. Fíjate qué cosas. Mola. Mis bolsas de viaje no son así. Confrontación del pestillo.
Mrs. Hubbard, you told me that the door connecting the two compartments was closed, correct?
Yes, it was, as I told you. I was already in bed and my toiletry bag was hanging on the hook of the door. I couldn't see the latch from where I was. That's why I asked Miss Olsen to check if it was closed.
Are you sure everything you've told me is accurate, Madame Hubbard?
Of course. I have an excellent memory.
Mrs. Hubbard, I tested putting your toiletry bag on the door hook as you told me. From your bed, you can easily see the latch on the door. The toiletry bag does not hide the latch at all.
Are you saying I'm lying?
Sí.
It may have been stuck somehow in a different position, or I may not have seen it in the darkness. Or I didn't think to look, you irritating man.
Details matter, madame. A man has been most savagely murdered. You will excuse me if I attempt to separate the truth from the false.
Forget my toiletry bag and focus on who entered my compartment. Probably after killing Mr. Ratchet.
Madame Hubbard is a force to be reckoned with, but I suspect I'm not done with her.
Thank you for your assistance, madame.
Michelle. Mabel. Y él me miró. Y yo le miré. Y él me miró.
Monsieur Michel, I must ask you a few questions if you don't mind.
I will do everything I can to help.
First of all, tell me about yourself.
Very well. My name, as you know, is Pierre Michel. I am from Calais. I've been with the company for over 15 years.
Thank you.
Es un controlador. Sí, tiene 17 años y lleva 15 de experiencia. Me gusta, me gusta.
Et voilà. Can you provide me with a listing of the passengers and their rooms, please?
Yes, certainly.
Oh. Michelle y Freya comparten habitación. En la 301.
Are you a smoker?
Indeed.
Do you smoke e-cigarettes?
No, tobacco only.
I would like to reconstruct with your help the events of last night. Monsieur Ratchet retired to bed. When?
Almost immediately after dinner, sir. Actually, before we left Belgrade.
Did anybody go into his compartment after that?
His valet, monsieur. Monsieur Masterman. And then his secretary, the young American gentleman. Monsieur McQueen.
And that is the last time you saw or heard of him?
No, monsieur. You forget that Monsieur Ratchet rang his bell around 12:40 a.m., soon after we had stopped. I knocked at the door, but he called out in French, "Ce n'est rien, je me suis trompé." I then left to answer another bell that had just rung.
Así que ya sabemos lo que es Masterman. Perfecto.
Where were you at 1:15 a.m.?
I was sitting on my little seat at the end of the car, facing up the corridor.
Are you sure?
I left a little after 1 a.m. to speak about the snow with my colleague Jean in the bar car. I came back later. There was a call. I remember speaking to you.
Indeed, I remember. Carry on.
It was the American lady, Madame Hobart. She thought she saw a man in her compartment. Then, around 1:50 a.m., I made the bed for Monsieur Ratchet's secretary, Monsieur McQueen. He had spent the evening talking with the English Captain Arbuthnot. At 2 a.m., I returned to my place and stayed there until dawn.
¿Por qué le hace la cama a McQueen a las 2 menos 10? ¿Se le manchó? ¿Pasó algo?
What is the last station where we stopped?
Winkowski.
Could someone have come on board?
Possibly. I was very busy. Owing to the weather, we were a few minutes late. We left at 12:10 a.m.
¿McQueen se meó en su cama y por eso tuvo que cambiarla? ¿Qué ocurrió en la cama de McQueen?
I found a button from an Orient Express staff jacket. Did you lose one by any chance?
No, monsieur. As you can see, I have all my buttons. It is not mine.
Veamos.
That was easy.
Veamos. Pensaba que iba a haber más vínculos, pero el reloj marcaba la hora y esa era para la zona de horarios que no estaba.
While Monsieur Michel was chatting with Monsieur Fauchet in the bar car between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., the murderer could have escaped Ratchet's room without being seen. That's the right answer.
La cuestión es que no estuvo hablando de una a dos. A ver, la señora Hubbard miente.
This direction looks promising. This appears to be a good lead.
Vale. Tengo curiosidad, ¿qué pasa si pulso el otro?
According to the information I have, this is a solid choice.
Ajá.
This is the most likely answer.
Opción principal. A ver. Pipa, pipa, pim. Ah, vale. McQueen y Masterman. Que si no me equivoco estarán en segunda clase. Hola, don Calvo. Permítame que registre su habitación antes de...
Monsieur Edward Masterman, I believe. May I ask you some questions?
I can barely talk.
No.
I have a terrible toothache.
We have a doctor on board the train. Perhaps...
I do not need a doctor. I use essential oils. If you can find my flask of clove oil in my box, I would be grateful.
Fine, if you insist. I will help you.
No entiendo lo de los aceites esenciales para el dolor de muelas, pero... Usted mismo, don Calvo.
By the smell, I think that the jojoba oil spilled on the other bottles, leaving their labels illegible. I must find another way to find which one is Masterman's toothache remedy.
Vaya con la yoyoba.
The weighing scale is soaked in jojoba oil. It's unusable. Ah, this old scale will do the job.
¿Por qué si tiene una balanza, o sea, una báscula digital tiene también una de estas? Para fomentar el minijuego.
To start, I must first arrange the vials from the lightest to the heaviest.
Sí, sí, sí. Entendido. Esa es la que más pesa. Esta es la segunda que más pesa. Luego va esta y luego va esta. Perfecto.
Now that I know the order, I think that I can easily guess which one is the clove oil.
Yan, almendra y clavo.
Here is Monsieur Masterman's remedy.
Cosa que no entiendo porque... Porque ahí son 1000 litros. Pero si se van gastando quedarán menos mililitros, con lo cual el peso no será correcto. En fin, el juego saca.
Here is your remedy. I hope it will help.
Thank you very much, sir. Ah, well, I can finally speak without too much pain. I'm ready to answer your questions.
You are Monsieur Ratchet's valet?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Were you told that your employer was murdered?
Yes, sir. A very shocking occurrence.
Es maravilloso el efecto mágico y milagroso del clavo. Aunque claro, si su efecto es anestésico, es aliviante del dolor, lo que este hombre realmente necesita es un dentista. Pues no sé de dónde puñetas es este hombre, entiendo que es estadounidense. Es un mozo y obviamente sí, tiene 66 años por la calma. Sí.
I'm right again. That happens to me a lot.
At what hour did you last see Monsieur Ratchet?
It must have been around 9 p.m., sir. That or a little after. I went to bed around 10:30 p.m., same as the person who shares my room, Mr. Foscarelli. He almost immediately began snoring.
What did you do then?
I read, sir, and I spent a while soothing my toothache with clove oil and listening to the snoring.
Did you hear anything during the night?
Snoring.
Yes, my roommate's snoring.
Are you a smoker?
Yes, sir. I have a cigarette now and then to relax.
Un cigarrillo de clavo.
Tell me about your employer, Monsieur Ratchet.
I've been working for him for 9 months. I should not wish to speak ill of the dead, but he was not a gentleman, sir.
Did you know that he had enemies?
Yes, sir. I heard him discussing some threatening letters, sir, with Mr. McQueen.
Did he mention these letters to you?
He had been reading a letter when I came in. He asked me if I was the one who put it in his compartment. I told him that I had done no such thing, and he should report it to the police at the next station.
How did he respond?
He laughed, sir.
You're joking.
I do not joke, sir.
Forgive me, I can see you do not. Was he taking sleeping pills?
Always when traveling by train, sir. He said he couldn't sleep otherwise. Last night he asked me to give him 2. I did so, along with a glass of water. He dissolved them in the water.
Did you see him drink the water?
No, sir. I left right after I gave him the pills.
Was Monsieur Ratchet a smoker?
No. He finds smokers disgusting.
Can you tell me again why you gave sleeping pills to Monsieur Ratchet?
Yes, I gave him the pills because when he takes the train, he has trouble sleeping. The letter must have worried him. He specifically asked me to prepare the sleeping pills. I didn't see him drink the water with the pills in it.
Objection.
Monsieur, I believe you are not telling me the truth.
What? How can you say that?
Sí. No hay nada mejor que estar asustado y pensar que te van a atacar, como tener un arma y decir, voy a tomarme algo que evite que apunte con certeza.
He received threatening letters, one, it seems, last night. Did you know he had a gun under his pillow? And even asked for my help to watch over him? I find it strange that he asked you for sleeping pills when he was afraid for his life and prepared to defend himself.
I'm sure I don't know. Maybe to calm his nerves, maybe out of habit.
It makes no sense.
Wait, please. Isn't it possible that Mr. Ratchet asked me to prepare the pills, but didn't plan to drink them for some reason?
It is possible. But I am a student of character, monsieur, and the Monsieur Ratchet you describe is not the man I met.
If you'll excuse me, my toothache is getting worse again.
I'm afraid this time you must prepare your own clove oil.
Ajá. Una excusa para... alejarnos. Hola, McQueen. Soy su peor pesadilla.
I believe I am addressing Monsieur Hector McQueen.
Guilty as charged.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, sorry. Just an expression. My father used to say it.
You must have had an interesting childhood. I am Hercule Poirot.
No need to be modest. You're a detective.
You are Monsieur Ratchet's secretary?
I am Mr. Ratchet's secretary. Just over a year. I mainly take care of translating certain texts for him. Mr. Ratchet only speaks English.
Prepare yourself for a shock.
Oh,
Your employer, Monsieur Ratchet, is dead.
So they got him after all.
What do you mean? You are assuming he was murdered?
I know he had enemies.
o sea... Señor McQueen, usted y yo hemos compartido un día de viaje en el mismo compartimento. Es una pena que no sepa que usted se llama McQueen. Y es interesante el dato que me ha dado de que Ratchet solamente hablaba inglés.
What can you tell me about Monsieur Ratchet?
He was American. He was an antiques dealer. I don't know much more. Mr. Ratchet never talked about himself or his life, but I think Ratchet wasn't his real name, and he left the United States to run away from something or someone.
Yes?
He started getting letters, threatening letters.
Do you still have them?
I have one.
Did you know that Monsieur Ratchet had asked for my help?
Asked you? No, I didn't know.
He knew he was in danger. When did you last see him?
Last night around 10 o'clock, I should say.
Did you like your employer, Monsieur McQueen?
No, I did not. He was, I'm sure, a cruel and dangerous man.
Can you tell me your movements last night?
I went back to my compartment. I read a little. In Belgrade, I went out onto the platform to smoke, but it was cold. I quickly went back in. I then went to Mr. Ratchet's compartment to take some dictation for him. I left around 10 o'clock. I saw Captain Arbuthnot. We ended up chatting in my compartment. Then we went out on the platform to quickly stretch our legs at Vinkovsky. He left around 2 o'clock.
Thank you.
I will need to check Monsieur McQueen's story with Captain Arbuthnot.
I found a diary in Monsieur Ratchet's safe. Did you know about it?
I kept a business appointment book, but I know he had a personal diary as well. That looks like it.
Are you a smoker?
Yes, I smoke cigarettes. I've tried to quit, but no luck.
Can you give me this letter, please?
Of course, here it is.
Ha llegado tu hora. Las 10 menos cuarto.
Was Monsieur Ratchet a smoker?
No, he hated the smell of smoke.
Vale, eso cuadra.
Was Monsieur Ratchet a smoker?
No, he hated the smell of smoke.
Chan, chan, chan. Chan, chan, chan.
The murderer may have impersonated Ratchet by calling Monsieur Michel to make it seem that Ratchet was still alive at 12:37 a.m. My little grey cells did not let me down.
¿La qué? Nope. Ratchet se toma, Ratchet se toma, Ratchet se toma. Bueno, sí, a mí se toman los tranquilizantes, efectivamente se los toma. Pero es forzado, no es forzado. ¿Quiere tomárselos? Ah. No, ni de coña, no. Pasionar con un cuchillo.
That's the right answer.
Vale, informabook. Todos son sospechosos.
To be a good lead. This is the most likely answer.
Muy bien, pues esto ha sido todo en las chorriaventuras de Black Coat, el asesinato del Orient Express. Hasta la próxima. Adiós.